Have you ever felt like your very presence in a room is a weight your partner has to carry? Have you ever felt the urge to shrink, to become smaller, to occupy less space, simply because you're afraid that your needs, your basic human requirements for affection, for space, or for support are an inconvenience to the person you love most? It's a heavy, suffocating kind of guilt. It's the feeling that you are too much. You find yourself apologizing for things that aren't mistakes. You say, sorry for being sad, sorry for needing a night off, or sorry for asking for a hand with the dishes. You think you're being polite. You think you're being easy to love. But I want to tell you something that might be difficult to hear. Over-apologizing isn't an act of kindness. It is often a passive-aggressive survival mechanism. By constantly apologizing, you aren't actually solving a problem of your unmet needs. You are trying to pre-manage your partner's emotions to avoid the discomfort of a real, honest conversation. Today we are going to pull back the curtain on why this happens. We're going to look at the hidden biology of your shame, the way this habit creates a power balance in your relationship, and finally, I will give you a roadmap to move from a state of constant apology to a place of relational safety. We'll start by identifying the trauma loop in your nervous system. Then, we'll explore the passive aggression trap that keeps you stuck. And finally, we'll practice the shift from I'm sorry to I need. If you stay with me until the end, you'll discover the deeper truth about what it actually means to be seen by someone who loves you. Let's begin by looking at why you can't seem to stop. Research into the psychology of shame suggests that apologizing for your needs is rarely about your current relationship. It is a survival reflex, piece of software installed in your brain long ago. For many of us, having a need was met with anger, withdrawal, or silence in our earliest years. If you grew up in an environment where a child's request for attention was treated as a burden, or where their emotions were met with a heavy sigh, your brain learned a very specific survival tactic. You learned to suppress your needs before they could even be voiced. You learned to apologize for your existence before you could even ask for a glass of water. Over time, this becomes a neurological reflex. When you feel a need, a spark of desire for connection, or a cry for help, your brain perceives it as a threat to your safety. It triggers a safety signal. You say sorry as a way to de-escalate the perceived danger. You aren't choosing to be sorry. Your brain is automatically trying to keep the peace by making you invisible. This creates what we call a shame identity. You begin to believe that your needs are fundamentally wrong. You start to view yourself as a problem to be managed rather than a human being with desires to be met. But there is another layer to this hidden dynamic that is actually eroding the very relationship you are trying to protect. When you apologize for everything, you are inadvertently creating a passive aggression trap. Think about it. If you apologize for your sadness, for your hunger, for your need for space, you are never actually allowing your partner to address the real issue. The problem becomes your personality instead of the relationship's lack of balance. It signals that you are taking 100% of the emotional labor for the harmony of the couple. By staying in the sorry loop, you are training your partner to view your needs as interruptions rather than requests. You are clouding the communication. When you say, sorry I'm such a mess today, you aren't expressing a feeling, you're expressing a feeling of your partner's reaction. You are choosing a polite lie over a messy truth. Let me ask you a question. What would happen if you stopped? The fear you feel when you think about stopping is the fear of being too much. But here is the counterintuitive truth. True kindness requires honesty. Being polite at the expense of your own mental health is actually a form of dishonesty. You are essentially hiding your true self from your partner. You are giving them a version of you that is easy, but that version isn't real. A healthy relationship doesn't exist in the absence of needs. It exists in the presence of safety. You need to move from a state of guilt to the belief that you are doing something wrong to a state of gratitude. Gratitude for the fact that you are safe enough to express yourself. You aren't trying to win an argument when you state a need. You're trying to build a world where you can be fully seen. There is a vital distinction you must learn today. There's a difference between an apology for an action and an apology for an existence. If you accidentally hurt someone's feelings, you can say, I'm sorry that happened. That is an apology for an action. It is honest. But saying I'm sorry I'm so needy is an apology for your existence. It is a rejection of your own humanity. The goal is to stop apologizing for the fact that you have a heart that beats, a mind that worries, and a soul that requires connection. Your needs are not an inconvenience. They are the roadmap to your intimacy. If you keep apologizing for them, you are essentially apologizing for the very things that make you lovable. So, how do we do this? How do we break the reflex? We start with the awareness.